Jumping in raw, haven't drinking any water or anything, but I'm gonna do this voiceover anyway. It's gonna be great. Okay. Oh man, I love this game. I love this game. I love this game. It's like they took every platformer I ever loved, took all the bad stuff I didn't like out of it, and just only had amazing platforming for the whole video game's worth of time. Review over. That's it. I hope you enjoyed my review of Hat in Time, a perfect game. Nah, just kidding. It isn't that simple, but man do I love this game. So before I even start unpacking this game, there's a variety of ways you can play this. It's available on PC, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and most recently, Nintendo Switch. I know the Switch version of this game has some added content, but just for the sake of cleaner footage, I'm gonna show the Xbox One version. So, one complaint I have about the Xbox One, completely unrelated to the game, is just, why the heck does this console take so long to boot? It takes forever to turn on, and it kind of takes forever to load anything.
Alright, doing the sketch with the sandwich, cause I'm showing how long the thing takes to do.
Anyway, though, Xbox One is going to be phased out soon, so let's talk about the game. I know I said this in my ukulele review, but I've got to double down. I missed 2017 hard. I honestly had a deep temptation to just fill all my 2021 reviews with 2017 games, just because this whole year was just, generally speaking, way the heck up my alley. The game starts simple enough. You're a girl flying the spaceship when a mafia member knocks on your window and demands payment. Then he proceeds to break the window, causing all your timepieces, aka the ship fuel, to be scattered around the planet. This is a setup to begin this new classic platformer collection game, and within minutes, you're already on the ground. You meet this mustache girl, and she sort of teaches you the ropes. A nice seamless tutorial in disguise setup to keep the immersion going. The visual style gives straight up Nintendo vibes, with Mafia Town feeling like Delfino Plaza or Windfall Island. The cel-shaded style gives me nostalgia for the GameCube. You're given a sense of both cohesion and aesthetic variety, though. You get to explore a film set, a train, a spooky forest with a haunted mansion. The fourth area consists of a stage that branches off into different areas. Now, different platformers find different ways to handle progression. In Mario 64, for example, you collect 1 star and then get booted from the level. Mario Sunshine takes better advantage of this idea by changing up the layout depending on what mission you have selected. A game like Banjo-Kazooie, or more recently Yooka-Laylee, is more free-form and allows you to continue exploring the level after collecting Jiggies. Hat in Time's first 3 levels use the technique presented in Mario Sunshine, while its Alpine Skyline level takes more the Banjo-esque approach. We sort of get a layout that uses assets and approaches depending on the stage and really builds things based on what's best for that stage. This prevents a problem you could get in Mario 64, where some stages are altered for different stars, but they kick you out of the level when there are still stars you could have technically gotten anyway.
Hello, darkness, my old
fuck. This game is a masterclass in linear level design. While it's true some areas are open-ended while others are more straightforward, this game has really mastered the use of visual cues, making sure it's really hard to get lost. If you're not sure where to go, your hat will lead the way. You get different hat power-ups with different abilities, allowing you to further explore the area. Once you get the ice cap, for example, you can propel yourself to new areas. This fox mask is really awesome. Basically affects the physicality of objects with a time limit, so you have to take a few different things into account with some of these platforming brain teasers. Oh man, I love stuff like this. You also get some power-ups from this glitchy fellow.
You may call me the badge seller, for I sell and trade badges.
One thing that makes this game so good are the controls. They are pretty simple, giving you the classic double jump so many platformers opts for, but one thing this game does really well is allowing you to string together multiple moves, making the most out of your jumps and expanding the possibilities. Like, watch this, you can double jump and then dive, and then jump out of your dive and grab a ledge. Pulling off these moves is super comfortable, by the way. But what are rock solid controls and concepts without good areas to play them in? I don't often say this, but I like every single level in Hat in Time. Every single level. Nothing I did in this game felt like a drag. Nothing had me stuck or frustrated for too long. But it didn't feel like this was too easy either. The first level, Mafia Town, gives you an open world to play in, but changes the layout during each chapter and gives you a different situation to work on. I love this one where everything is lava, for example. Battle of the Birds has a really fun story setup that branches into two paths. One with a movie director through a movie studio and different sets, and another on a train. I really loved this mystery level where you have to find all the clues and figure out who committed the crime. No matter who you choose, you have the right answer, but there is incentive to play the level again just to see what ridiculous conclusions they come up with.
It was my turn to clean the Owl Express, and I just decided to, fake my death with this rubber knife.
The boss is really hard, what the hell? Okay, maybe one or two things in the game I did get stuck on, but they're few and far between. One thing of note that I think is really cool in this game is the amount of depth they put into the options. I mean, for the Switch version of example, they have 3 options for color blindness, which is really cool, and I have not seen that in a whole lot of games. In Subcon Forest, you get this fun Halloween aesthetic, and the premise for completing tasks is that your soul has been taken, and you're forced to sign a contract to get it back. As fun as the aesthetic is, this haunted mansion bit had my heart racing. Don't let your 80-year-old grandfather play this level. Oh my god, just the darkening room, the shaking camera, all this really, really loud noise that plays, all comes together to build this tension that many horror movies actually never really managed to create for me. Oh, no. Go. Whatever aesthetic this game aims to present, it always seems to succeed twofold. Why is this game so good? Like, what am I gonna do? An angry game nerd rant on how amazing this game is? This game is so good, I would play it over going to Disneyland. I could get a vacation day and spend the whole thing playing Hat in Time. If I neglect to call 911 mid-heart attack, it's cause I was playing Hat in Time. If I'm late to my own wedding, it's cause I was playing Hat in Time. Forget anything that's not Hat in Time, because this game is amazing.
Lisa, you're tearing me apart, Lisa.
Alpine Skyline acts as a secondary hub with a bunch of separate areas, and they opt not to boot you from the level during this one. This is where the platforming talent of the game is really taken above and beyond. This area where you have to use the fox mask makes you think on your feet. The area with the windmill was, from a platforming perspective, probably my favorite section to complete. I was in gaming bliss the whole time, and I don't want to spoil too much of the final boss because just play this game for yourself. It's so freaking good. But someone was on something when they designed this part, because oh my god, it's fast. What the hell? How do I even keep track of this? But why is this so fun anyway? One great thing this game does is borrow ideas from other platformers. In Mario Sunshine, for example, you sort of get these separate areas hidden around that steal FLUDD and give you a pure platforming challenge. In Hat in Time, you get these time rifts that'll pop up and transport you to a pure platforming challenge. I absolutely love the music in these areas, by the way. Generally speaking, the music in this game has a very Nintendo GameCube era vibe and gives me huge nostalgia flashbacks. It's really hard to think of any complaints with this game. It's so good. Like, once or twice, I guess the camera was jank. Also, it does feel like the game went by in a breeze, so I'd say it's not long enough, but that's where the DLC comes in. I think it's always better to leave your audience wanting more than feeling like they got too much. So I know I said I have very few complaints about the game, and from a design perspective, from a platformer perspective, from a fun perspective, stylistic perspective, all that stuff, I really don't have that much I could really complain about. There's not a whole lot of things wrong with this game. That said, there are some performance hiccups. I noticed a little bit in the Xbox One version. It's mostly just load times. How long the load screen hangs is rather unnatural. I don't know if it's just the Xbox One, but it doesn't feel like I'm supposed to be sitting there for that long before I get to play the game just because I went from the hub world to a level, you know? This is also true in the Switch version of the game, so you can't really just blame the Xbox One. There's a lot of performance hiccups in the Switch version just while you're playing the levels. And one thing I noticed, especially in larger levels, where you can see a lot of the landscape, you see the quality cut back significantly of objects in the distance the farther back from that object you are. You know, objects that don't even look that far away kinda look like they could run on an N64. So, and I don't know if I could entirely blame the Switch for that, because Breath of the Wild runs on the frickin' Switch. However, objects that are closer up look just about as good as you can expect them to look on the Switch, and for the most part, the graphical performance hiccups don't affect the gameplay, except when they do, and there were a few times I had the frame rate get particularly bad. It seemed like when there was a lot going on, especially when it came to lighting effects, the game could take a really hard hit. But in the game's defense, my Switch might be a little bit bent from a incident involving Smash Ultimate. This game was made with a lot of love, and it's probably one of the most fun games that I've reviewed to date. Yooka-Laylee may have been the start of scratching that platforming itch, but Hat in Time fully realizes what a 3D platformer can be. If you've got the same 3D platformer itch that I do, go get Hat in Time and play the ever-living crap out of it.